Throughout the years as children, we've seen heroines of many different races in Disney. We've seen Pocahontas, who's Native American. We've seen Lilo, who's Hawaiian. We've seen Mulan, who's Chinese. We've seen Jasmine, who's Arab. We've seen Esmeralda, who's Gypsy. We've seen Snow White, who's white. And then there's numerous other white Disney heroines and princesses. There's Cinderella, there's Little Mermaid, there's, you can name them all, Aurora. As a child, I've always been fond of Disney films and Disney theme parks. And I never really let the race factor get into, when I was a kid, I never let the race thing get into me watching the movies and say, hey, just because there's no black hero, there's no black heroine, I'm not going to watch it. I never really let that get to me. But I've always wondered why Disney's never had a black hero or a black heroine. So I saw this link, it said Disney's The Princess and the Frog. So I haven't heard about this. I decided to click on it. I had no prior knowledge that the princess was black. Started watching the trailer. I looked at the princess. She had a little bit of a dark complexion to her skin. I didn't think that she was black because, everyone has this mentality in their head, just like the president. Nobody thinks that there's going to be a black princess, just like no one thought there would be a black president, Obama. But, I was looking at her skin. I thought maybe she could have been Native American because, Native Americans have dark skin sometimes. Or she could have been a Filipino girl. Filipinos have dark complexion of skin too. Then she started to speak. I was like, whoa, she's black. So I was watching the trailer, just casual like this. When I heard her voice, I was like, everyone knows that the princess kisses the frog and the frog turns back into his original form, which is a man, and he's a prince. Now, for some reason, Disney decides to change up the story role. They decide that they're going to make this princess kiss the frog and turn her into a frog too. 15 minutes of the movie, 15 to 20 minutes of the movie, she's going to be just a black girl, and she's not going to be a princess yet. She's going to be in the house, she kisses the frog, and then she turns into a frog. 45 through 50 minutes of the movie, maybe even an hour, is her trying to find out how to turn herself back into a woman, and then she ends up turning the prince into a man. We all know what's going to happen. But my thing is, why at the beginning of the movie she's just a princess, she's a black girl, and at the end of the movie she's a black girl? For a good majority of this movie, she is going to be a frog. Did they make Snow White? She was in her original form. You saw her white skin. Cinderella. You saw Pocahontas as a Native American. You saw Mulan as Chinese fighting the Huns. Why does the black princess, Disney's first black princess, why does Disney's first black princess have to be a frog for majority of the movie? 3 funny things about this movie. For one, she is Creole, therefore she is not full black. Not knocking Creole people, I'm actually mixed with Creole, but the thing is, why couldn't Disney's first black princess just be black? Why does she have to be mixed with French and Spanish? Why can't she just be full black? Number 2, they were gonna name her Maddie. Maddie, if some of you guys don't know, is a very stereotypical ethnic Creole Louisiana name. Maddie, short for Madeline. They found out that was stereotypical and that was a little bit controversial, so they decided to change her name to Tiana. Tiana. To top it off, she's a servant for a white debutante in New Orleans. A lot of people might be pissed off about that. Let me rephrase it. A lot of black people might be pissed off about that, but I'm not. I understand the fact that 1920s weren't a very big accepting time for black people, especially in New Orleans. So that's understandable. Most black people were servants for white people back then. It's just common history. Disney representatives claim that it's been very difficult for them to find an appropriate role for a black princess within their storylines for Disney. Walt Disney, multi-billion-dollar industry. Are you telling us, the black community, and anyone else who's interested in this movie, that it's too difficult for you to go and find a folktale, a story, from any one of the thousands of languages within the continent of Africa? Thousands. There's Algeria, Nigeria, there's Benin, there's Gabon, there's Congo, there's South Africa, there's Lesotho, there's Ethiopia, there's Sudan, there's Egypt, there's Chad. I can go on and on about all the countries in Africa, and you're telling me you cannot find a storyline that can fit a black princess. I'm through. The link's in the sidebar, right there. Click it, watch it, enjoy.
It's gonna be good!